if you had to say, was there a penultimate moment, peak moment in your career as a coach where you felt like, that was the highest of highs in your career? Or was it, less pronounced than that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that I would start by telling you that there's one thing that I've always chased as a coach. And the best way for me to explain it wasn't even about me. It was an observation that I saw. And these are one of the stories, right, that most people can relate to, because if they do follow swimming, they'll know these athletes very well. And it was the next to the last night of the Olympic Games in 2016. And there were a group of girls on the team that were all Stanford swimmers. So, they had this history of swimming together way before they made the team. And then the way that making the team works with the U.S. is you go to the Olympic trials, and that's a very grueling 8-day swim meet.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get to go home for 2 or 3 days, and then you come together as a team. And it's usually somewhere a little less than 50 athletes make the team. Sometimes there's 42. It depends on how many people double in events. You have 2 in each event making the team. I think in 16 I want to say we had 44 swimmers make the team. And so you come together as a team, and then you go to a domestic camp for 2 weeks. Then you go to an international camp for 2 weeks. And then you go into the village about 4 days before the actual meet starts, so you can acclimate to the village. But these 4 girls had a very deep history in training together prior to this. And their coach at Stanford, Greg Meehan, was also on staff there. And the 4 girls that I'm talking about are Katie Ledecky, which is pretty much a well-known name at this point, Simone Manuel, who the first Black female to win a gold medal in swimming. Leah Neal, another Black female athlete that made the Olympic team. This was her second Olympic team. And Maya Dorado, who sort of became the sweetheart of the Olympic Games in terms of females. And Maya had just swam the 200 backstroke, and she had won it in like the last 5 meters on a touch. And there's no way she should have beaten the competitor that she beat. And if you can think about 4 years of training together, think about going to the trials and battling through that to make the team. Think about the month together working real hard to prepare yourself for what's going on. And then all of the stresses that go into competing at an 8-day swim meet at the Olympic Games. And I just happened to be walking from the way that the venue is structured at the Olympic Games is you have the competitive pool, which is really about all that people watching it on TV see. I think they let you come back to the warm down pool occasionally, but not very often, because that's sort of a place where you're really taking care of business to go perform. So they don't like many distractions. And in between, there's this media parade where people, after they compete, they have to go through this line of reporters that are shoving mics into your face. They're throwing cameras into your face. And they're asking you questions. If you've had a tough swim, they aren't easy questions to answer. And if you've had a great swim, then they're celebrating them. So Maya had just come through there, and she's walking down these stairs to the warm down pool. I, by chance, happened to be there. And I see Maya come down, and Greg is standing there with her, waiting for her, along with Katie Ledecky, Leah Neal, and Simone Manuel. And they're all kind of looking at each other. You okay?
Greg's the head coach.
Yes, Greg's the head coach. And they're all kind of looking at each other. And they are so emotionally and physically exhausted from what they've been through, and yet they're so excited for all of that time and hard work that they put in together. That, I mean, their faces look gaunt, and
Mhm.
all of a sudden you see them start to cry. They know they shouldn't cry, but they have no way to not cry. They are so tired and so exhausted that they have no defense for emotion or not showing emotion. And I captured that moment, and it's the kind of moment we celebrate in these different, like, pictures you see in the newspaper, pictures you see in magazines on these athletes who are they have finished doing something and they just don't have any control of their emotions. And that's what I've always chased. I know that that's what I've always chased. I can see it in a local swim meet where a kid has done something and he looks back at his coach, or he looks back at his teammates, and it's like just this moment of appreciation for what you've done together to get to something that you never thought you would reach.